off the shelf Shadow of the Eagle, the 1809 Battle of Medellin from the Spanish wargaming magazine Alia number 16. So, some basic introduction. This is physical, well, components wise, this is as bare bones, as simple as it gets, meaning, for example, when a unit is, I think it's disordered, simple D marker. When a unit routes, you flip it over, and most counters in this counter mix have blank backsides. So, as basic as it gets, components wise. I have English translation of the rules, basically for, well, I guess it's the bare minimum of battle scope terrain. So we have clear, we have slopes, I guess you might say high ground. I guess I should say high ground, but in game terms it's the crest, I think is how they translate it, which is the outside, which is the perimeter. So we have rise here, or high ground, a little bit of high ground, and high ground here. To be absolutely certain that this was high ground and not depressions, I did do some quick searches of map images for the battle, and figured out that this is high ground. We have we have the waterways. Let me see I think there are two types. There's river and stream. There's river and stream. That's funny. How do you tell the difference? River and stream. They look the same. Well, I'll figure that out later, but there's river and stream. There's a little bit of woods. I'm trying to remember if the woods eat. Oh no, I'm thinking of another game. The woods does have it does have movement and combat effects, but there's just not much of it. There are little clumps here and there. There is the road, Castillo, the towns. There's Medellin up there, and there's Don Benito off the map in the corner of the map here. And there's this little village over there. But there's a Castillo right there. I see one. So that's a separate, the fortress there is a separate type of terrain, and that's it. Pieces, very, very basic. The smallest text and imagery I think I've ever seen on a counter. But that's movement is not printed on here. There's a separate table for movement allowances. So this is the E is its morale level, morale value. 4 is its strength. The dot down there, if I remember correctly, means it's a light. So it's light cavalry, E morale, strength of 4. We use strength markers or hit markers. So this infantry here starts off at strength of 9. When it takes its first hit, you have a little hit marker, and hit marker goes under. So so why am I taking a look at this game? I think the best way to explain why I'm taking a look at it is that it has the bare minimum of what I'm looking for in a Napoleonic battle scope game. So it has, well, I guess I'll just go through the rules and hit what I'm talking about. So this, having by strength point attrition, is pretty much a must for me. It's pretty much a must for me. We have orders. This game actually has, I think, 6 different kinds of orders. Make sure I got that right. So it has without orders, attack orders, harassment or skirmish order, which is pretty interesting, maneuver, defend, and retreat. So it has 6 different kinds of orders, including without orders. So that's pretty much a must for me. It does have formations, but it has really the most basic formations imaginable, meaning that infantry. So again, here's your infantry. Like this, it's line. We do have square formation, and we have something called so it has what's called guerrilla formation, but it's really a skirmish formation. So you place, here's the parent formation. The guerrilla marker can be placed up to 4 hexes away, and then the strength of the unit, 9 in this case, is distributed among the hexes. Again, basically call it guerrilla formation, but it's really a skirmish formation. And then your artillery, unlimbered, and limbered, and I guess cavalry doesn't have any formations, so cavalry is just so that's basically the basics of what I'm looking for. This game has these things in the bare minimum. The sequence of play, I think, is very, very traditional for a Napoleonic battle game, as far as there's a French phase. Well, there's a dual orders phase, then there's a French phase, and a Spanish followed by a Spanish phase. Each player phase is broken up into first movement, or I should say friendly movement, then opposing defensive fire, friendly offensive fire, and then friendly shock combat. So the Spanish go first, unusually, or not even though the French normally go first each turn. In this battle, the Spanish go first on the first turn. Well, they don't go first. I think the battle starts with the French or the Spanish phase of turn 1. In other words, the French phase is skipped on turn 1 of this battle. So basically, there are 5 Spanish divisions here. They all have attack orders. So again, for the Spanish phase, there's going to be Spanish movement, which is obviously towards the French line here to get the battle started. Then there's French defensive fire, Spanish offensive fire, and then Spanish shock combat. Probably the most important thing is, again, the fact that all the Spanish divisions start with attack orders, and that means that if a unit moves, it must end closer to the enemy. It must end its movement closer to the enemy, and at least 2 units of the entire command must basically try to have combat, fire or shock combat. So for each of these divisions, I've actually already moved the 1st division over here. Yeah, so this is the 1st division over here, Henna Strosa, I think, with the army commander. I think this is the army commander, Cuesta. I've already moved them forward, and significant. The artillery will fire if the French medium cavalry here is in range. I think they are, and then this unit is in position to shock combat, and then as well over here we've got three cavalry units here ready to shock combat. This is another French unit of medium cavalry. These actually I guess they can be generally made out on the screen. Artillery, infantry, cavalry. Yeah, I guess they can be. And all the commanders have these shields, these standards, I guess is what they are. First I thought it was a shield. Actually, I think it's a standard, maybe a battle standard. I'm not a Napoleonics wargamer.